I'm asking the questions.
All right.
Feel free to try to control it, but you won't get to. You can boo all you want to. I don't give a shit. Okay, listen. Well, I may be a hack, but I've got the fucking microphone.
I knew I should have asked Ruben Stutter to moderate this debate.
Don't worry, I'm sure he rehearsed that line in the bathroom this morning.
I just want to say, Clay, you're probably the worst moderator I've ever seen in my life.
Yes or no? Are people who are marching shouting Jews will not replace us?
Nazis are bad, Clay. We agree. Nazis are bad, okay?
Can you say yes or no to this? Are you capable of that?
I can. Hey, Clay.
Can you say yes or no to it?
Let me ask you a question, Clay.
I don't need to answer a question because I'm not on the stage.
Clay, it's
Can you answer the question? Yes or no?
You just asked me if Nazis are bad, and I told you Nazis are bad.
No, I did not ask you if Nazis were bad.
Of course you did.
I asked you to say yes or no.
Yes or no.
And I understand those are big words.
Really bad. Yeah, I think they're really bad.
Are people marching saying Jews will not replace us good people? Yes or no?
What I'm saying is, if at Charlottesville, if he explicitly condemned racists and white supremacists, we would agree that's a good thing. The president should do that.
His first reaction should have been that. His first reaction was good people on both sides.
In the very same paragraph.
Good people on both sides is not condemning racism. There were no good people marching saying Jews will not replace us. Not one good person. Not one of those people was a good person. Not one of them. Not one.
Now, if you read down 2 paragraphs, as he is saying that,
he still said there were good people on both sides.
Well, what he's saying is
and you know it, and I know it. That's what he said.
Well, I mean,
good people on both sides.
Let me ask it this way. Let me ask it this way. Let me ask it this way.
Sure.
Are people who are marching and shouting Jews will not replace us, are they good people?
I don't
yes
know.
or no?
I mean,
just a yes or no question. Yes or no? No, it's a yes or no question.
What a ridiculous question. Give me a break.
You can boo me all.
You know, the reason
are you able to answer the question?
One conservative
yes
because
or
they
no?
know that it's a fair fight.
Yes or no? Are people who are marching shouting Jews will not replace us?
Nazis are bad, Clay. We agree. Nazis are bad, okay?
Can you say yes or no to this? Are you capable of that?
I can. Hey, Clay.
Can you say yes or no to it?
Let me ask you a question, Clay.
I don't need to answer a question because I'm not on the stage.
Clay,
can you answer the question? Yes or no?
You just asked me if Nazis are bad, and I told you Nazis are bad.
No, I did not ask you if Nazis were bad.
Of course you did.
I asked you to say yes or no.
Yes or no.
And I understand those are big words.
Really bad. Yeah, I think they're really bad.
Are people marching saying Jews will not replace us good people? Yes or no?
They're bad people, Clay. People who are Nazis are bad people, Clay.
That's not what I asked you.
I've answered this 5 times.
No, you haven't. You've chosen to answer it the way you want to answer it.
We'll go back in the tape later and
You're
see if
rewording. You're rewording.
That I did.
You're rewording.
But Clay, what you're doing right now is exactly what the mainstream media did to Trump at Charlottesville. It's the exact same thing. I gave a perfectly clear answer, and then you tried to pretend that I didn't.
I feel so bad for you. I feel so badly for you.
Why do you feel badly?
It's very easy to play victim. Let me ask you this.
Why do you feel
Let me ask you this.
Hey, guys.
You can boo all you want to. I don't give a fucking shit. Okay, listen.
I think our rhetoric is too extreme.
Let me ask you this. Just here's a yes or no question for you. Does President Trump lie?
Oh, I think every human being lies.
I asked a yes or no question. Does President Trump lie? Yes or no?
He lies as much as everyone else lies. Yes, he does.
It is amazing. Can I ask you a yes or no question?
Actually,
does President Trump lie?
President Trump lies.
Okay.
All the time. 7 to 10 times a day, he lies. He lies about little things. And if somebody lies about little things, you can't believe them about the big things. And that's the problem with him.
So I'll give you an answer on this.
A rowdy crowd.
Because I'll give you an answer.
I like it.
You're asking if President Trump lies. Of course he lies, everybody lies. The question is, what is the nature of those lies? Does he lie and say he's got the biggest crowd sizes ever? Yes. Is that quite a lie, or is that an exaggeration?
China called. We're really close to a deal. China never called.
Yeah.
China doesn't call. China's a country. They didn't call.
President
they never
Trump's done a lot
called.
better on
He
China
lied.
than Barack
The
Obama
market
did.
responded to that lie, and some of the president's friends probably made some money off of that call.
So I'll explain this.
Lie.
So if we're talking about honesty and lies, let's just show President Trump's record compared to his predecessors. President Trump, I think one of the best left-wing arguments against Trump is that he's actually a little bit too honest and says things that he shouldn't say because he should hide it. When the Heritage Foundation did a study right after he was elected, within the first year, showed that he was affecting more of his agenda more quickly than any of his predecessors on the conservative side. I'll give you another example. The embassy in Jerusalem. Since 1995, the official policy of the United States has been to move our embassy in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Clinton didn't do it even though he said he would. Bush didn't do it even though he said he would. Obama didn't do it even though he said he would. So when Trump said that he would, nobody believed him. I didn't believe him. I never thought it would happen. Then Trump, because he's new to politics, just goes out there and he says, I think I'm going to fulfill my campaign promise. He moves the embassy. People are shocked and horrified. They say this is an international incident. It's only because he told the truth. And frankly, if I've got to choose between a guy who's got a little dodgy personal life and who tells lies about crowd sizes, and if we're talking about lies on matters of important public policy, I want the guy to be honest on public policy. I don't care what he says in his personal life.
If you want to make a Republican mad, you tell him a lie. Tell him a lie. But if you want to make a Democrat mad, tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. You see? It's crazy, right? It's crazy. And that's how divided it has become. Yeah. Kids are taught to repeat the same things that they are fed, especially from mainstream media. Mainstream media. In other words, college is no longer teaching critical thinking. No, it's teaching obedience. You gotta obey. You gotta obey.
Hey, what?
Before you start, since clearly the audience thinks I'm biased, we're going to let them ask some questions too.
Clay, we're
going to let them ask some questions too.
Office as a Democrat. I think you have your biases.
I just want to point something out as a progressive who goes on Fox News. I'm used to biased hosts. I know you're not. I am. It's kind of nice to have one
that's because CNN doesn't invite any conservatives on.
And by the way, you could boo me. I'm used to it when I'm in conservative crowds. I love you anyway. But Clay Aiken, man, he's like a national treasure.
Me, I get booed all the time. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
Don't boo.
You know what? I'll say this. You know what I'll say? Stop it, Chris. I'm a big boy. I can handle myself. I'll say this. I did a great panel yesterday with Anna Kasparian and Tommy Lahren. A lot of fans of Tommy Lahren and Anna Kasparian, both sides. I will say, I may be a hack, but I've got the fucking microphone. So anyway, we're gonna let you guys ask some questions too. You're ready? I didn't invite people up, but since you're already up, come on up.
Wow.
Do you have a question?
Be here all night.
This line is already ready, so go for it. Huh? Yeah. You're a funny guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you want to tell your joke again?
I said, is it because I'm black?
Yes, it is. Okay, come on up. Come on up.
Okay, my question is for you. Do you believe, after observing this debate, that he was non-biased?
Look, we know Clay Aiken. It's fine. Everybody's biased.
Okay, if you have a question about something other than me, then you can come to one of my panels later on if you really care to. That's fine. But somebody else, come on.
Okay, now that we're in the business of picking apart things that people say, and especially things that Michael Knowles says, I'm going to do just that.
Lay it on me.
Michael, I want to ask you about something that you said a while ago in a lecture, that the main purpose of the criminal justice system is not rehabilitation or even deterrence, but it's retribution, and you've differentiated retribution from revenge. How are they different, and why is retribution so important? What does that get us? I don't think it gets us anywhere. Thank you.
This is an excellent question, and it's a big, very widely misunderstood on both the left and the right. The purpose of our criminal justice system is justice. We also want to deter crime. We also want to rehabilitate offenders. But the primary purpose is justice. Without justice, there would be no reason to have it. Look, all of us could use a little rehabilitation. The reason that we don't go to jail, what separates us from criminal offenders, is the act itself. And the justice is key here. Now, the difference between vengeance, revenge, say, and justice by the civil authority is that if you insult my family or something, I'll want to get revenge on you and I'll be personally really angry, which is terrible. Nobody wants to go out there. Vengeance is the Lord's. Justice, however, has been entrusted to civil authorities. That justice is primarily why we come together and constitute governments. That is to maintain order and justice, and so the civil authority has the right to do that. No society could possibly exist without a sense of justice, down to the lowest level petty crimes all the way up to murder and and other serious crimes. That is our traditional understanding of it in societies that have flourished.
That's why the politicization of the Justice Department is the worst thing that's happening in our country right now, by far, under this president.
You're talking about Loretta Lynch under Obama, or are you talking about which Justice Department are we talking about?
Hey, look, I know it's easy for you to get a rise out of your people, but it's Bill Barr. And Bill Barr is not being a traditional attorney general.
What has he done that you object to?
Billy Barr came out and he told his Justice Department to go prosecute the president's political opponents. That's what's going on right now.
When did he do that?
This week. I mean, you watch the news, right?
He's having the Justice Department investigate interference in the 2016 election. Right.
Into an investigation that was opened by the Trump
committed in 2016.
An investigation that was opened by the Trump Justice Department. And this has got to stop. Okay,
so the Justice Department
can't have an attorney general going around the world seeking evidence to help the president get reelected.
Okay,
that is not the attorney general's job.
Chris, we're going to stick with the question. That wasn't the question that the gentleman asked, so let's move on.
The thing is, some of these students, they're not necessarily bad people. No. But they are victims of misinformation. They are misled and totally convinced that they are right. That's the terrible part. That's the terrible part. You see? And yet there will be people who will still defend that position. They will defend that position. Yeah. Literally begging governments, institutions of power to take away their right because they think trading freedom for safety makes them good citizens. In other words, they want to follow the trends. If you get to follow the trend and you associate with the trend, you become cool somehow. You become cool by association. It's terrible.
So before I ask my question, I just want to say, Clay, you're probably the worst moderator I've ever seen in my life. Asking very dishonest yes or no questions, but anyway.
That's perfectly fine. I've yet to win anything, so sure. I always come in second place. Ruben will be doing one down the hall, so go ahead and ask your question.
Did you ever stop beating your children, yes or no? That's a stupid question. Anyways, I just wanted to say, so this event was, your guys' talk was marketed as, finishing unfinished business, and it was over this argument you guys had over Greta Thunberg about, you said that she was like autistic or whatever. He got really mad at you, and that was the whole thing. And we never even addressed that in the talk. So I was wondering, if you guys could maybe quickly address that or something.
Sure, I would be happy to. So obviously, of course, there is nothing shameful about living with any sort of mental condition. I certainly never suggested that it was, and I certainly never meant to suggest that it was. What is shameful is exploiting children, particularly vulnerable children, for political purposes. And we're seeing this happen in the case of climate change, which is very, very awful, but we've seen it happen before. We've seen it happen to traumatized children in the case of pushing gun control. The left perpetually uses children as human shields for precisely this purpose, to shut down debate. And it's a cheap political trick that they do, and so I object to it on that front, but it's also extraordinarily harmful to children. You're seeing this happen again and again, and so I object to it outright.
But that's not what you did. That's not what happened. What happened was you called her a mentally ill Swedish child. This is a woman who was speaking before the United Nations. She's 16 years old. She's a child. She's autistic. Whatever. Instead of going after her arguments and having a debate about what she said, he decided to say, don't listen to her. She's a mentally ill.
I never said anything of the kind.
This is what you were inferring in that. And
No, that's what you inferred. It's not what I implied, my friend.
Hold on, skinny boy. Relax. I got this.
Only because it's a compliment.
I had to pull it out. Come on. It's like my tagline now. Look, what the right has been doing, and sometimes the left does it too, is when they don't have an answer to the attack, they attack the person raising the question. She is saying, we have a problem with climate change. She is leading a large movement of kids around the world that want to see our governments do something about climate change. You might disagree with her message, then disagree with her message. But pointing out her perceived disability that you say, that was not right.
Chris,
and when you're 16 years old and you're talking to a guy who's got a 13-year-old kid and a 26-year-old kid, and I'm looking at you saying, come on, man, you're an adult.
Right,
She's a child.
Chris, that's right.
Do not pick on a child.
That's right, Chris. You have teenage kids, which is why you should know much better than to exploit children for political purposes. I have 20 pages of notes here that can refute every one of your climate change arguments.
I don't believe she's being exploited for political purposes. I think that's a
you're
false
misdirecting this
argument.
again. You're
That's a false
misdirecting
argument.
again, but I'm going to keep talking until I get to finish.
Yeah.
Because the reason that you're deflecting is because you don't want to answer the question of when it is okay to exploit children in politics. The line that I used is exactly the same language used by Psychology Today. It's exactly the same language used by the girl's mother. It's exactly the same language used by the American Psychiatric
You were not on
Association.
Fox.
And it's
You were
totally
not on
relevant
Fox to
because
talk
you are
about.
not only
You were not on Fox to talk about
the climate change
You were on
movement.
Fox to talk about climate
excuse me,
change.
I will finish my statement, Chris. I was on Fox to talk about the climate change movement.
Yeah.
No, not climate change. The climate change movement.
Right.
And
we were actually there to talk about
Meatless
Monday.
And Meatless
you
Monday
brought
should
up
have come up.
something else up.
What I said is that it is wrong of the left to try to advance their climate change arguments by exploiting a child. And then I cited a relevant fact as to why it's especially bad to exploit vulnerable children. And if that's not the only time they've done it, they did it in Parkland too to traumatize kids. So my question to you, Chris, is when is it not okay to exploit children for politics?
I think it was the guns that got the kids kind of upset in Parkland. I don't think it was the people. I think the guns that were used to kill their friends.
Right, and then the left
got them
used
upset.
the children
And I think they
to
led a
push
movement to react
their
to things that
agenda.
adults are not doing. Okay, now, look, here's the thing. Here's what you actually said. You said if this was a real movement, it would be led by scientists, not a mentally ill Swedish child.
No, I said if it were about science,
there
it would
have
be
been
led by
scientific
scientists.
marches for 10 years on climate change.
Scientists
there have been
don't march,
scientists
Chris.
calling
Political
it out.
activists march.
There was
Scientists conduct
there was
studies.
We
science
probably
march last
could
year.
use a psychologist here today, but we don't. None of us are. So let's let him have the final word.
Thank
with
you,
his
Cliffe.
question.
Scientists don't march. You've just revealed exactly the point that I'm making. This has become highly politicized. It is always wrong to exploit children in politics.
Okay, let's
and I don't
leave it at
care
that.
how many.
Let's leave it at
Excuse
that.
me. I'll finish my statement.
Let's
excuse
leave
me.
it. You made
We're
it
not gonna
statement.
leave
You
it
said
there.
it a few times. You made it a few times.
Excuse
If you
me.
had a question, go ahead.
Excuse me.
Go ahead
If
and
you
ask your
wouldn't
question.
mind. If you wouldn't
said
mind.
it's always.
Thank you very much.
It's always wrong to exploit children in politics. That's the point you made. You've said it a few
But
times.
I want to point out something. I want to point out something about this debate.
You've got folks who are fans of yours in line
both
who want to ask questions.
Would you mind if I finish my point? Thank you
yours.
very much. I would like to point out something. Whenever you question the left's tactic of using children as human shields, which I'm doing right now, you both interject as quickly as you can to shut it down, which is an absolute validation of my opposition to that
You've
awful
said it
tactic.
4 times. I let you say it. I let you have the last word.
Well, he let me
you
say
were
it,
allowed,
actually.
No, you said it, and then I said, you've said it, so now let's move on, and you wanted to say it 2 more times.
Well,
so
I'm
congratulations,
happy to move
you've
on
said
now
it
that people
3
have
more
heard it.
times. Let's let him ask his question.
My pleasure.
Okay.
How did we get to this point where protecting criminals becomes more important than protecting our very own citizens? It's crazy. But you know what? I respect those who stand up and speak the truth. I respect them, especially when they do it calmly. Yeah, and in a civilized manner. You see? Ordinary people are rising, and they are saying enough is enough. They are tired of being ignored by the leaders who they elected to save them. They're tired. Tired of seeing the system bend towards criminals instead of justice. Yeah, it's crazy, folks. It's crazy. Actions must have consequences. Actions must have consequences. If you assault law enforcement, if you destroy property, if you shut down public roads, you should be held accountable. You should be held accountable. No more catch and release. No more excuses. Real consequences. Real consequences. The USA was built on sacrifice, not submission. In other words, freedom isn't free. See? Freedom isn't free. All gave some, and some gave all. Some gave all. Yeah, they actually think that the Biden administration was the hero, that censorship was protection. You see? And that feelings are more important than facts. See? And they don't realize that they're defending the very same institutions that lie, that manipulate, divide the country. And divide the country. Because when you ask them, where did you get that information? They will say, online. I got it online. Can you imagine? They don't question. They don't sit down. Question, is this biased? Has this been edited? Is this agenda driven? They don't do that. They don't do that. And it's really sad. It's really sad because a lot of these young people, they don't have a clue that they're defending the wrong stuff. They have no idea what real freedom, responsibility, or even sacrifice means. They don't have an idea. They would defend censorship, justify government overreach, and yet they will even think, a lot of them, they think that President Trump is the problem. They think President Trump is the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, social media censors, the MSNBC networks, all those stuff, brainwashes, college indoctrinates. See? And now we are raising a generation that doesn't even realize that they are being controlled. They don't even realize it. And they like to call President Trump a liar. You see? While believing every scripted thing they hear on the television, on TV. See? And they like to use that word, fascism, fascism. And they will cheer when the opposing voices are silenced. They will cheer. See? They will cry for freedom while handing their own freedom, to the illegals. It's terrible, right? It's terrible. Yeah. And the sad part is, they believe it with conviction. They believe the things they say with conviction. They are so confident in their own ignorance. And that's almost the unbearable thing to watch. And what makes it sad and sadder, because they so believe what they preach. It's terrible, these laborers. It's terrible. America needs young people who are willing to listen. You see, not just repeat whatever they see on TV. No, on television. I like to say television, okay? Yeah. I really hope that. I really hope so. Yeah. The pendulum is swinging and people are beginning to wake up. Yeah. And that's why conversations like these matters, ladies and gentlemen. These kind of conversations, they matter. Yes, we disagree, but can we at least sit down and have a conversation? See? Yeah. And if you agree, don't forget to also watch the next one and to subscribe and to leave your comment. I will see you next time.